With the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it's now time to rank the franchise. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the Movie Ranker, and today I'm going to be ranking all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies from worst to best, including the holiday special. If you enjoy rankings like this, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I put out rankings all the time, guys, from all genres, from these MCU movies to, superhero movies to action movies to horror movies, everything. So if you're interested in that, make sure you sign up. And let's get into this ranking. So coming in the last place at number 4, I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Just frame of reference, I don't hate this movie or anything. All these movies are pretty damn great, if you ask me. But something had to go last place. So I chose Volume 2, but there's still a lot of good here. I like the new characters they introduced, like Mantis. We get Baby Groot in here, which is cute and hilarious, especially his dance at the start. I love that whole intro, how action's all going on and he's just dancing away at the same time. So great. Of course, the soundtrack is awesome, like all these movies. This one focuses more on the 80s, I feel, with like Fleetwood Mac and bands such as that, but they just fit the style of this movie so well. And I really love what they did with the Yondu character in this one. They gave him a great send-off at the end. It was quite emotional. And they made his character more likable. You get to find out more about him in this one compared to the first. So I like everything they did with him. I just find that this one has the weakest story of all these movies. And I don't like how the Guardians are kind of split up for most of the time. Half of them are like hanging out with Ego on his planet, while the other half are captured by Taserface. Ridiculous character, by the way. And yeah, there's no real sense of urgency for a lot of the runtime. I mean, we have the Sovereign, the Gold people. They're villains in here, but they're not all that threatening. They're more of a joke. And then we got Kurt Russell playing Ego, which I really enjoy Kurt Russell. He does a great job in the role. He has an interesting character and his motivations in that, but I feel like him being a villain kind of comes out of nowhere. We're like 3/4 in the film and he's like, oh yeah, and I'm going to take over the galaxy with my son. And it's just like, this kind of comes out of nowhere and there's no real build up to it. The dialogue's great when we're talking about the comedy aspects. That always works for me. Like Drax and Mantis going on, one calling the other one ugly and stuff. So funny. But the other stuff feels like Looney Tunes, like when Drax is hanging off the back of the ship and he's like hitting trees and stuff and he's giggling. I'm just like, this is gone a little too far for my taste. Up next at number 3, I got the holiday special. What a great little Christmas themed little special here. Perfect to watch every year around that time. Got a lot of holiday spirit in that in here, especially when we're talking about our intro and outro. It's real interesting that they made that animated. It's a flashback, obviously, that's why they did it. And we get a little bit more Yondu in here. And at first you think he's just being a regular a-hole, not liking Christmas, but as it plays out, you learn that he ends up having a heart and checking out his gift after he throws it in the trash and getting Quill, these 2 blasters by the end. So we get that nice little heartfelt moment. And it's just funny that Drax and Mantis team up in this one and are kind of our main duo. Who would have thought they'd get their own little spotlight to shine in? And it was great. I like seeing these two as their leads because they're both so dumb and they're both playing this like fish out of water type characters where they don't know their surroundings or anything about Earth, and them going to Earth to try to kidnap Kevin Bacon for Quill's Christmas gift is hilarious. They're trying to be nice, they're trying to do the right thing to them, but it's completely bonkers. Especially love how Kevin Bacon's playing himself and they don't think he's an actor, they think he's an actual hero from all these movies. I especially like the line of dialogue that brings up Friday the 13th. They're like, you killed Jason. It's just so damn funny. Never expect to hear Friday the 13th in a Marvel show or movie, pretty crazy. The only thing that could have made this a little bit better is a little bit more action. We really only get one action scene when they're chasing Kevin Bacon and then they get into the scuffle with the cops. Aside from that, it's more dialogue driven and you know, it's okay because it's a holiday special. I just would have liked a little bit more action. Yeah, but this is a kick-ass little holiday special. Up next, at number 2, I have the original, Volume 1, the first movie. Such a good flick. This one and my number 1, I have a hard time deciding which is best, but I ultimately went with this one as my number 2. Great little kind of origin story to see how the gang got together and make a family. Um, the characters are all so interesting. You know, Groot with Rocket, and then you got Gamora trying to steal the orb from Quill, and it's just a real interesting group of characters, all different, and it's awesome to see them come together, have to work together to break out of the prison. That is probably one of my favorite moments in this whole franchise. Such a cool little scene breaking out of that prison. Lots of great action stuff going on. Again, we get a kick-ass soundtrack, this time being more in the 70s. Really great. Like I said, that's one thing these movies have for them. They each have like their own soundtrack in different eras, which is really cool. And I think this has the best story out of all the movies. Best adventure, I should say. You really feel like you're on the adventure with them, and you're loving these characters you never even met by the end. And that's something James Gunn really accomplished here, is taking these no-name characters. You had to be a really crazy comic book nerd to know about Guardians of the Galaxy, and they just made everybody fall in love with these characters. He did such a good job. If I had to give a negative, it would maybe be I wish the villain was a little better in this. Ronan, he's okay, but I feel like he could have been even more threatening. And the first time I watched this, when it first came out, I was a little confused because Nebula's blue and he's blue, but yet Nebula is Thanos' daughter, and that was a little confusing at first. And then they're saying Gamora's his daughter, and she's green. I was like, I don't know how these alien skin tones work, but it's a little strange. But obviously, after watching all these movies multiple times, that's straightened out. But yeah, I wish Ronan was just, I don't know, just a little more villainous. And after you watch Infinity War and all this, and you see that he's working for Thanos, I'm like, damn, I wish it was just Thanos as our villain in here. But like I said, this is a kick-ass movie. We get even a great little emotional ending here with Groot sacrificing himself to save everybody. And you get that one extra line of dialogue, "We are Groot," and that just means everything. Such a great movie. Like I said, it's such a toss-up between this and my number 1. But they're both so friggin' amazing. But coming in the first place, I have to give it to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is still a very fresh, very new movie, so my placement might move over time, but I've seen it twice just to make sure. And as of right now, it is my favorite. Definitely the most emotionally driven, the most deep that we go with these characters, especially Rocket. This one really showcases his character and his backstory, how he became. And there's even like some horror elements in there with the experimentations and that they did on him. And it's so well done and definitely heartfelt. And you're like, they're making me feel for this raccoon character, which is just really impressive. And all these characters get great send-offs by the end of this film. It wraps up nicely. It wraps up in a way that we don't need any more entries, but you could still do kind of like spin-offs with certain characters and that. It just wrapped up really nicely. One thing all these movies have in common is the kick-ass soundtrack. Even on the holiday special I didn't mention, they have a great Christmas soundtrack on there. But this one deals more with the 90s. Since he got like his MP3 player now, we can do different decades. It has songs from other eras too, like I heard Heart on here from the 70s and that. But it mostly focuses on the 90s, and we get like Faith No More and bands like that, which I'm like, damn, what great underrated choices for tracks on here. And there's a scene with No Sleep Till Brooklyn by Beastie Boys, and it's one of the most epic action sequences in the entire franchise. It's really cool. It's up there with The Prison for me. I think it just got a great story. It's quite lengthy, but it never really feels like it's that long. It got a great story. It got the best villain, I think, in the franchise, with the guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he's the one who experimented on Rocket. And I just like the look of him, how he has that like extra face on him, stapled on the sides and that. And the reveal of his face is pretty damn creepy. And I just love James Gunn keeps going there. He pushes the MCU limits like the rest of the directors, I feel like hold back a little bit, and the horror elements and just the comedy, how he's a little mean spirited sometimes. Yeah, and this villain just feels the most evil with his intentions and with his genocide and everything that he does. And you really want to see him pay for everything he did to some of these characters. It's just, it gets very sad and emotional at times, so I think that's why you want to see the villain fail. It has everything. It has the emotion, it has the laughs. I can't believe James Gunn threw the first F-bomb in the MCU in this flick, and it's so funny when it happens. I was waiting for it because I heard about an F-bomb in this movie, so every time people were arguing that, I was just waiting, and when it happens, it's definitely a laugh out loud moment. So yeah, just a great film. It exceeds in everything from the story to fleshing out the characters and giving them great arcs and send-offs. The comedy's great, the music's great, the villain's great. Everything works for me. So this one easily comes in the first place in my ranking. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 4 Guardians movies. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your ranking down in the comment section. Which movie's your favorite, your least favorite? Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd if you're interested. Those links are in the description of this video, as always. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoy videos like this. I put out rankings all the time, guys, so if you're interested, make sure you sign up. And until next time, thanks for watching.